Remember, folks, all you have to do is just sit through this review of this crappy fic, and then we get back to Flash. Deal? Deal. So, let's do this. The chapter starts off with Nyx and the other gathering around, looking over the hall, before finally meeting up around the crowd and meeting up with Sakura. Which Nyx is afraid of. I don't know why. According to the fic, it's because Sakura is the Everfree Forest. Problem. Wasn't Sakura one of those people that actually talked to Nyx and convinced Nyx to get off her ass to save everybody back when the monsters attacked the Everfree Forest? I could have been mistaken, but that could have happened. But, oh no. Nyx has to be scared of Sakura. The African character. Voiced by a black woman. Nyx. Who's being written by evil Jay Garrik. I want you to ponder that for a bit. And that's when Nyx hears that, yes, it's now time for Nightmare Night to be revealed as the tale of Nightmare Moon, and that they're building this whole entire holiday all around her. Don't know how Nyx couldn't have figured that out on her own, since the last time I watched the show, there were decorations all over the place with Nightmare Moon's symbol. But we're gonna get into that, aren't we? Meanwhile, the rest of the fic spends its opening half sucking on Luna's teat, as Luna proceeds to give everybody everything they want, and she has a plush chair. Instead of talking with her subjects and shaking hands in a comical fashion like Celestia did, which was more or less meant to be a joke and a comical fashion to continue to explore the lesson. But let's continue on. Why, Fluttershy even has her own garden to talk to the animals, even though it was Fluttershy making a mistake and not realizing what type of animals. And, now that I think about it, this does give me an opportunity to express the difference between me and some of these other people, like Reality Check, and how to learn not to take anything too seriously. As I've said before, what I don't like about the Grand Galvin Gala as a season finale is that it doesn't work as a season finale. Return of Harmony does. However, I also appreciate the gags. Now, if I wanted to think too hard about it and take it too seriously, then I would point out that it makes no sense for a professional caretaker like Fluttershy to not understand that there are some animals that don't appreciate being approached, and you cannot force your way to do it. That no matter how calm or relaxed you can be, there's nothing you could do but accept that a lot of animals will go away, even if you are like her. It didn't make sense for her to not relax that, but on the other hand, it's a good joke. To see Fluttershy go over the top like that is humorous and funny. Sometimes you can accept a little character deviation if it means it makes a gag work. Sometimes you have to deal with that. And by taking things too seriously like this, it kind of hurts your point. Heck, it may even seem like sometimes I take things too seriously when it comes to certain trailers for certain DC movies. The truth is, I'll always understand it is meant for kids, but I'll always explain what my problems are as a viewer. If other people like it, if other people enjoy it, fine. If it works for the audience, that's always okay. Thank you. Now, back to your fic. Already in progress. As Luna proceeds to basically demean and bemoan the assistants that she personally hired, as Luna proceeds to ask, again, The two ponies, I must establish this, the two ponies she hired personally, so she knew what they were like, who they were, and how they acted. So she knew before she took them in that these ponies would do this. Why they are messing up her plans, as the pony villains are stuck in one ballroom while the nobles are stuck in the other. The DJ is currently doing music over there away from Octavia. There's no Sweet Apple Acres food. There's no Sugar Cube Corner, which begs the question of why would Vinyl not even be anywhere within the vicinity of Octavia, considering how close friends those two are. And how Luna just now noticed the whole entire "please ignore me" spell, which she should have done in the first place. And she continues to berate these two. Oh, and I can't wait to do the next chapter. But you'll have to wait yourselves, as now, it's time for what you came here for. The Flash stuff. Honestly, this feels so much better written. And so much more well done. And people are intelligent in this book. Chapter 2. The tragic day starts. Life begins at 10. At least that's my story. Most kids that age have no idea what tomorrow will bring. I know I didn't. Wally says this as a flashback occurs of the day he got the suit. Of how he held the young Kid Flash suit, the first one, in his hands. As Barry looks on with a smile, pleased at having a young assistant to help him fight crime. Not until Barry Allen took me under his wing, gave me a purpose, a direction, an identity that would totally define my life. It was the greatest gift I ever received. From that moment forward, Wally Westbury must cease to exist. Some sacrifice that was the point of never gearing down, living an ordinary life. Like I could grow up being the Flash. He was the ultimate role model, and I was his able apprentice. Together we were a team. Another flashback of Barry and Wally taking down Captain Cold. Right until the day he vanished. And then we turn to a scene where Psycho Pirate holds Barry's destroyed costume in his hands, crying over the valiant sacrifice. Like the rest of the world, I believed Uncle Barry was dead. I wanted to honor his memory, so I tried to fill his boots. I took up the mantle of the Flash and did my best to honor his heritage. What else could I do? Then, just about the time I finally stopped worrying about living up to his legacy, the craziest thing happened. Barry returned. The next memory shows the day of Barry Allen's faithful return. Apparently he hadn't so much died when it has been transformed to energy. Energy that mysteriously reconstituted itself in the midst of an electrical storm. Just like that, Uncle Barry had been given a new lease on life. Once more, we worked side by side. It was just like the old days. In recent weeks, however, one of us has started acting paranoid. And quite frankly, I'm not sure if it's him or me. My problem is obvious. I hadn't told anyone, but Mongo knows that Barry's reemergence as the real Flash makes me redundant. Slowly, Wally pulls out his costume and looks at it. Saddened, heartbroken, trembling. It's not like I haven't brought down myself. I may have made a few cosmetic changes to the suit, but I still dress like Barry. I still carry his name. Hell, even Jay calls me Junior. It's a big world out there, but is there really room in it for two Scarlet Speedsters? Barry's problem, if it is a problem, is more subtle. Wally says this as he puts on his uniform. To me, His behavior seems to be growing increasingly erratic, unstable, as if he were abnormally protective of his own identity. As Wally looks into the mirrored reflection of the glass of the window, he can still hear the echoes of Barry Allen shouting down, "He is the Flash." A few nights ago, I could swear I heard him rail at some thug that he, and only he, was the Flash. Wally pulls out a note. Then again, my perspective could be skewed. I could have misunderstood him, read too much into his actions. That's the way paranoia works, isn't it? Wally picks up a note, reading, "Wally, heard through reliable sources that the Combine has an HQ in Brown Building 264. Don't you want to check that out? If you need help, call Piper." Jay's been spending time with him. Wish we could compare notes, see if he knows any change in Barry. But I haven't heard from him in days. A rush of air as Wally takes off from his apartment. Guess he's off with the Justice Society or something. Those old guys sure do like to stay together. The scene changes to a mighty building standing in the city. The Quick Start Labs. Me? Gosh, I'm a convert from way back. Do tell. It's true. Mr. Chambers' Quick Start programs changed my life. Just watching one of his infomercials made me feel like the whole world was holding me back, you know? I can imagine. And now, to work as his executive assistant, he is so inspiring, so energetic. That he is. Hello, Johnny.
Oh, right with you, Jay. That's right. Bancroft, our Florida distributor is hurting. Move 10,000 for your TP units fast. When I say fast, I mean fast.
John.
In a second. Not you, Carlson.
A blonde man looks to the phone, scanning through papers, reading everything he could. This man was a superhero once himself.
Yes, and no on the seminar dates and double scheduled Colorado. We do well there. Ciao.
John.
Don't apologize. You of all people are always looking to buy.
He drops a few tennis balls down to the ground, begins to proceed to play golf while he listens, moving at a speed far faster than most humans. He is the former hero, Johnny Quick. Now retired and forming his own business.
I've already done lunch at Sushi Bar. I could watch those chefs all day. Pure dream emotion they are.
This isn't a social call. I am not here to see Johnny Chambers. I'm here to see Johnny Quick.
It's what you're afraid of. It's happening.
Yeah. So I want you to be ready.
I'm there, buddy. Need me to pull Jesse in on this?
Johnny says as he pulls out the suit. Still worn from its many battles, but still usable for a superhero.
Leave your daughter out of it. We won't have time to teach the young girls all our tricks. Just wants a job for those of us with a track record. You know who we could really use? Max. I'm way ahead of you. You always were. Nadine, consider yourself a star.
I suppose so.
Great. Then start running to show my absence. I'll be back as soon as I can.
Elsewhere, Wally begins to have fun. Running along the wire, racing with Barry Allen. Although, he's also having fun while he's out on a mission, falling right behind his mentor. Combine gun. These guys are making me nuts. Who are they? Where do they come from? Why would they choose to base their criminal empire in the Twin Cities of Central and Keystone? As they run, Barry and Wally catch sight of a bunch of bathing beauties playing in the wire. Wally can't help himself but to join in a little fun and play with the baseball. Actually, at a time when the area is reeling from a surplus of costume crime fighters. Actually, I can answer that one. Chalk it up to uncanny arrogance. Since the Combine hit town, they've been brazy in their tactics. We've cut into their operation time and time again, but they show no sign of pulling back. So, with the help of my friend the Piper,
a reformed criminal who maintains a wide network of informants, Barry, Jay, and I have decided to take the offensive. The two flashes run up the side of a building. 26, that's what the Piper said. 23, 24, 25. That means we're kicking butt and taking names! After they're done running up the side of a glass building, they kick the window down. Anybody home? This tip, it's on the level? Huh? You tell me. The two step and find a giant model of Central City, all lit up and perfectly arranged. I don't believe it. It's a tabletop model of the Keystone Central area, but perfectly to scale. Obviously, these megalomaniacs like to keep their eyes on the prize. Notice how some areas are illuminated with significance. A man dressed in a Golden X armor, which could only to be defined as if Professor Xavier decided to wear a star-spangled uniform with long flowing cape and a ponytail.
Those, dear boy, are the city sectors that fall completely under our control. Right now, they are few and far between, but all plans to light the entire model like a Christmas tree are soon the flashes are finally disposed of.
Before there could be a movement, there's a small little crack beneath their feet as the two flashes race towards the man. Tell it to the just, smart guy. You're coming with a hologram. Barry, get back! It's up! Foam! The trap had to faints. Trap.
Indeed it is. We spare no expense to create a death trap that will, at long last, put you out of our misery. An ever-shrinking force field set to squeeze the life out of you.
Okay, the laugh was added by me, but would you be surprised? As the green barrier slowly encroaches upon our two heroes, we cut to a subway. A man with light brown hair sits in the subway booth, taking tokens for various people.
Oh, tokens.
2 tokens.
10
tokens.
Hello, Max.
Oh, nobody here by that name. Tokens.
Max, people like us don't belong in Subway. You ought to know that.
Nobody here named Max. You're lucky, Luffy.
Oh, of course, I forgot you used to go by other names. There was what? Lightning? Blue Strike?
Quicksilver.
I like that one. You kept that one for a long time. And Max. Max Mercury of Whirlwind West. Damn, you were fast.
For the last time, you got the wrong guy. You won't make me call security.
Oh, for pig's sake. Come on, John. We're obviously mistaken.
Johnny Quick could only look at Jay Garrik with a look of bemusement and surprise. Was his friend really ready to give up that easily, talking to this former hero?
We've got the wrong guy,
Jay says as he pulls on the coat of Johnny Quick,
only to suddenly bump into the window, causing the goalies to fly all over the place. My tokens!
In a flash. Pardon the pun.
Max Mercury starts grabbing at all the coins as they fly all over the place,
moving faster than I can see. But to him, the coins might as well have been falling in slow motion, as Max Mercury proceeds to grab every single one of them before they even hit the ground.
Gotcha.
Damn reflexes. Alright, you caught me. Well, I don't know what you're gonna do with me. Grandfather's got a mind scheme. I give it up a long time ago. You know that.
Well, yes, if Jimmy Stewart was still alive, I would love for him to voice Max Mercury.
I also know that you owe me one. 1949, the Screaming Skull, remember?
You swore you'd never call that one in, not unless it was a matter of life and death.
What does that tell you then?
Out of his pocket, Jay Garrik pulls out the Max Mercury costume.
You'll need this.
Hope it still fits. Cut it all these years.
I want to remember, Max. You were my hero.
Alright, where to?
if I may pause here and talk about a little of what I love about Mark Waid's stories here and what really attracted me to them and why I love this run. Well, for one thing, it's always been a light in the darkness of the Dark Age of comics. While everybody else was going with the grim and gritty, blood, guts, and all that, Wally West stood forth as a hero. But what I also love, and what really attracted me to this era, and what really makes me come back, is this feeling of legacy, of history. As a kid when I read this, I didn't know who Max, Jay, or Johnny were, but I became interested in them. I wanted to know more. I wanted to know more of their stories, of who they were, and where they came from. I was curious about their backstories. And of course, I've fallen in love with Max since then, and I really wish he would show up in a live-action series. I think that's kind of something I wish the Flash comics would go back to. A sense of legacy. A sense of there has been more back in the past than you could ever imagine. Kind of wish that there was a way to feel like there was something going beyond what was in the present. And there was this huge history waiting to be unfolded and discovered. That's what I really enjoyed about this, was that they gave us a feeling that this isn't just the last story of heroes. That there have always been and always will be. And that these heroes that we're seeing right now are taking on a legacy and entering a world bigger. And are living up to ideals set before them by their grandfathers and forefathers. And I just love the way that this whole entire bit has these old men gathering together to take on Barry. It's so cool. Alright, back to the fic. The Great Barrier continues to close in around our two speedsters. Helplessly, they slam on it. Feels closing in fast. We gotta do something. Maybe there's some sort of secondary trigger mechanism inside the room. Barry shakes his head. I'll fight right through and see if I can... BAM! Try his might. Barry gets knocked back by a reverberation. What the... Clever. The field actually automatically senses my vibrations and instantly adapts itself to block my frequency. It really is impenetrable. Wally tries his best to start punching at the wall, but it does forces a feedback. So that triggers out. Well, one of us better pull another rabbit out of the hat. Soon! The barrier continues to crunch, closing in closer and closer. Suppose we try vibrating simultaneously. Yeah, right. Whoever designed this thing took that into account, Barry. Some of us aren't fast enough to vibrate, remember? I can't do it solo unless... Bing, 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 bing. Hey, come here! Slowly, Barry Allen walks over towards Wally and puts his hand on his. I might just be able to sustain a vibrational pattern for a few seconds if you jumpstart me. Barry puts his hand on top of Wally's. It starts a good vibration going. There. Now, while the field's busy attuning itself to my frequency chain pairs, you go and jump! The barrier does this and breaks them apart, just in time for Barry Allen to escape. Beauty, it worked. And check this out. Your power drive might have wiped out some of the field's sensors. I'm slipping through too. Helplessly, Wally looks on as he holds out his hand for Barry Allen. I can't get out on my own, though. Give me a hand. Barry? Barry Allen just stares. Sometime before today? Before I have to chase myself to the mass? Barry, I can't maintain the vibration. The field's closing. Don't screw around, okay? Barry, get with it. Don't leave me hanging. For God's sake, help! Barry slowly reaches his hand out towards the Flash. Towards Wally. That's it. Come on, man. I know there's a lot going on in your head these days, but I know you won't let me down. After all, we're a team! And then Barry pulls his hand away. Very touching. You almost had me, too.
But you know the old saying, Wally. This town's not big enough for the both of us.
Barry, are you crazy? Why are you talking like this? Help me!
Help you? Why?
You stole my name. You tried to replace me. You tried to make the world forget Barry Allen. Barry, look around you. Everyone remembers. They remember the kind of man you were. The things you stood for.
I had to ask, is this Barry speaking? Or is this the feelings of people like Dan Ditto?
Of course they do. You're here to remind them. To be their champion. Their hero. While the real Flash becomes some pathetic, forgotten figure in the dustbin of history.
Well, I'll show them.
Angry, Barry Allen kicks this model, breaking it. Trust me, Wally, I will be remembered. Starting today, Barry Allen will forever be remembered as the man who destroyed this ungrateful city. Barry, please! You got it all wrong. I never meant to take your place. Everything I am, everything I do, I did it to honor you!
Barry looks at the screaming, frightened face of his former apprentice, and his eyes narrow in a cruel, cold manner as he says, "Your mistake." And with that, he races off. Have I mentioned I really love this story?